In a quiet American town, there lived a man named Mr. Harris. To his neighbors, he was just the older guy with the neatly kept lawn and a small flag he'd raise on Memorial Day. No one knew he was a hero. Not because he hid it, but because he never believed it himself. When he was just 19, his country went to war. Like so many others, he didn't enlist for medals or praise. He went because it was his duty. He packed a single bag, said his goodbyes, and boarded a bus that would carry him straight into history. The war aged him quickly. Days were a blur of exhaustion and fear. Nights were even worse. He learned to sleep with one eye open, to follow orders without question. He was a private, young, replaceable, and mostly unnoticed, until one night changed everything. His unit was assigned to guard a supply road deep in hostile territory. The mission was supposed to be routine, but it wasn't. Just after midnight, an explosion ripped through the convoy. Gunfire erupted from the hills. The radio went dead. The commanding officer was hit. In that moment of chaos, with no orders and no leadership, a 19-year-old private made a choice. Mr. Harris crawled through mud and smoke toward the disabled communications truck. Bullets zipped past his head. Using skills he barely remembered from training, he rewired the damaged equipment under fire. The radio crackled back to life. He didn't give his name. He just transmitted coordinates and called for support. Then he left the radio and went back into the fight. For hours, he moved through the darkness, dragging wounded soldiers to safety and directing others to defensive positions. He was hit twice but refused evacuation until every one of his wounded comrades was safe. By dawn, reinforcements had arrived. The road was secure. Lives were saved. But the war moved on. The official report was brief, with no names highlighted. Paperwork got lost. Mr. Harris received a standard service medal, a quiet handshake, and came home with scars and memories he never spoke about. Civilian life was a silent struggle. He married, raised a family, and worked steady jobs. When people thanked him for his service, he'd just nod and change the subject. His kids grew up never knowing the full story. When they asked about his scars, he'd just say, "Just stuff from overseas." He believed others had done more, that he had just done what needed to be done. Decades passed. Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived. It was from a military historian. Recently declassified documents had revealed gaps in the reports from that one fateful night. Survivor testimonies all mentioned a young private who kept everyone alive. That private finally had a name. The historian tracked him down. When asked if he remembered that night, Mr. Harris paused and said quietly, "I remember the cold." The review process took months. Witnesses were found, medical records were matched. Slowly, officially, history corrected itself. The recognition came in a small, humble ceremony. His family listened in stunned silence as the citation was read, describing his courage and selfless action. When asked how it felt to finally be recognized, he said, "I didn't do anything special. I just didn't leave." After that, letters started arriving from the families of the men who survived that night. Some said thank you. Others said, "Because of you, my dad came home." He read every single one. The medal stayed in its box, tucked away in a drawer. He never displayed it. He didn't need to. History had finally remembered him, not because he asked for it, but because the truth, carried quietly for a lifetime, finally found its voice. In that small town, the man who never sought recognition reminded us all that the greatest heroes don't chase glory. They simply answer the call and carry the weight forever. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please give it a like and subscribe for more.